Hey guys, it's Savannah and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to tell you a bit about my experience at FarleyCon over the weekend. But first, let's take a look at some of the clips I took. Now, clearly, there were not nearly as many clips of this convention compared to what I took at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville at the beginning of July, but that is because they were two very different sizes. The Knoxville Fanboy Convention was held at the Knoxville Convention Center, which was built for the World Expo. That was held there back in the 1980s, I believe. And this one was held at Camp Jordan, which is in East Ridge on the far west side of Chattanooga. It is just a small center. It is one story compared to Knoxville Convention Center's 3 stories. And so there was just a lot less space, so it was naturally a smaller convention. That does not mean that it was any less exciting. We were able to spend just over 2 hours there, and that's because there was so much to see and explore and so many amazing people to talk to. Now, my fiance Cole and I took our siblings, his brother Aiden, my sister Sydney, there because they are just as big dorks as we are, and there were people there that they wanted to meet and say hi to, and so we just thought it would be a fun experience to take them with. So we did meet a lot of amazing people there. There were so many independent authors and publishers there that we got to talk to. There are just a few that I grabbed cards or took pictures of. One was Aaron Quinn, who was with the Walnut Branch Publishing Company that is local to Chattanooga and works a lot with local artists of all types. He himself runs the publishing company, but also has a book series out that I am interested in and plan on taking a look at. The title of one of the books, the first book in a series, is called Stars Below the Concrete, and to hear him describe it was so cool. It's a combination of urban fantasy and high fantasy, which the way he was describing it just sounded really amazing and something I would love to get my hands on at some point. He also was very kind, and once he heard that Cole and I had just gotten engaged the week prior, gave us a copy of a small little magazine type thing that their company does, which just has art in it from so many amazing Chattanooga local artists of all types. Poets, painters, short fiction, all sorts of people. This does have in the back of it a QR code. I'm going to hold it up right here. I don't know if it'll work through the screen, but just in case it does, I wanted to hold it up there for you guys to check it out. But it is called The Walnut Branch Volume 2. This is the summer 24 issue. They have done one other, which was a winter 24 done at the beginning of the year, end of last year, something like that. But they are just amazing people there, and I hope to be able to see them again at some point at another convention. Okay. So Keith Robinson is another author who is there. He self-publishes. He has his print books on Amazon and then ebooks on his website. He has a few series going. Notably, one of the series is called the Island of Fog series, which is so cool. It involves people who can shapeshift and go on little missions as they're through that. I don't know the detail on all of them because it is an 18-book series. I am not joking. He literally is finishing writing number 18, and 17 of them are published. So that was just very impressive to hear. And my sister seemed fairly interested in those books. And they may be something that I check out at some point too, because it was very intriguing to hear about them, as well as 18 books in the series. Another series of his that he had there was a scary story series. He said it was more like Goosebumps, if any of y'all have ever read any of the Goosebumps books, in that there are 6 books, but you do not need to read them in order. They are all standalone books. And it did seem more like early reader, young adult type of horror. So that seems more up my alley in regards to horror. So it is also something I may check out at some point. But it was also just very impressive to hear him talk some about that. The other author that was there is Alfred Muller. I'm going to turn this. This has his link tree on it. If the QR code works through here. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't, so that's why I'm doing this. But he seems to have series that are a little bit of everything. He has a high fantasy and more of an urban fantasy series, but he has a few different series out there. I do not recall any of their specific names, but I will be posting the websites for all 3 of these authors in the description down below in case y'all want to check them out. But all of these authors were super nice people. It was so good to be able to talk to them and hear directly from them what they were working on and just seeing their passion for it. It is something that is always nice to see. In regards to who specifically was there media-wise, that we were very excited to go and meet and see. Cole and Aiden were very excited to meet Kyle Hebert. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce his last name, but he is a very well-known voice actor in the anime world. He does a little bit of everything from what Cole has told me, but he was what they know him best for is his work as Escanor in the English version of the 7 Deadly Sins anime, which is on Netflix, so I may be checking that out sooner rather than later. They really enjoyed him, so Cole got him to sign his Escanor Funko Pop, and they said that he was very, very nice and interesting to talk to and hear a little bit about. Apparently, from what he told Cole and what Cole relayed, he voiced a Street Fighter character in those games, and that character showed up in Disney's Wreck-It Ralph, and Disney went and actually asked him to go and voice him for his little appearance in that rather than getting someone else to do it. So apparently Kyle said that was one of his favorite little cameos he's done, which was very nice to hear. Sydney and I were more excited, and especially Sydney, but Taylor Gray was there, and what we know him for is his work as Ezra in the Star Wars Rebels series. Now, Dad got Cindy and I into Star Wars from a very young age. We both remember very vividly that the first movie we recall going to see in theaters was Star Wars Episode 3, and so I believe it was rated PG-13 at the time, and we would have been maybe 3, 4, 5, somewhere around that age. So if that tells you how much our dad loves Star Wars, we would fight over whether Cindy would get to put a Star Wars tape in the VCR, or if I would get to put a Disney one in whenever we watched movies. So Dad got us into them very young, and Sydney took to it way more than me. I did enjoy Star Wars Rebels, but I did not watch it all the way through because at the point where, spoilers, where they decided to permanently blind Kanan, I was like, I'm done. That was just it for me. But Sydney has watched it through multiple times, and so it was very, very awesome for her to get to meet him and get him to sign one of the pre-made little 8x6 clip stills from the show or whatever it was that they were from. But she was able to to talk to him some and just really get to meet him, and it was very nice for her. But something that was really surprising and just really cool, and that we are all just still amazed over, was he was not advertised as being there, but we came across his table and we were able to really just talk with him for a really long time. But we got to meet Deegan Puchkors, however you pronounce his last name. He said it is very terrible to pronounce. But he is a artist who does a lot of covers for the Energonverse that is being ran by Image Comics right now, which is just a universe that combines the plots and stories of Transformers and G.I. Joe and their Void Rivals series right now. And so he has done covers for more than just that, but that is what is coming out currently. But he also has been doing covers for what is it called? It is The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution, which is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stories. So Aiden was really into the first series of that, so he was very excited about that. Cole and I have been reading Transformers, and you know already that he loves Transformers. But he's also been doing the covers for Scarlet, which is G.I. Joe adjacent. But also, according to the background of his booth, he has done Spider-Man covers, which is a series that Aiden collects. He has done at least one Batman cover, but he's done, which I collect, but he has done so many things, and he was just so nice and was actually like excited to talk to us and explain to us some of what he does as his process. Sydney was really interested in talking to him about all of that stuff because her first degree is in studio production, which is more film and TV side, but they connected in that way. But he said he's doing a cover for Transformers soon, and so Cole and I are already excited to look out for that cover. But it was just so amazing to talk to him. Like, seriously, I cannot explain enough how much of a nice person he is. Like, he's interested in talking to people and was very excited to explain some of what he did for covers and his process going into it and what he was thinking about when he was doing it. And he said he's going to be back in Chattanooga in October for the Chattanooga Comic-Con, which we are also planning to go to. So we are hoping to be able to talk to him again then and get more things signed, because Aiden bought a copy of The Last Ronin to get signed, and then got a cover of Scarlet issue 1 signed from him, which this is just such an amazing cover. Like, I was like, I love that you got the movement of her hair, because a lot of people do not think about that when it comes to women's hair. And he was like, yes, I wanted to do that because she's in the middle of getting shot at. He said that the mountains were the most difficult part to draw, and that some of this explosion way at the front is intentionally blurred because that's what it would look like if it was an actual shot from a movie or a show. But I have not read this yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing all of that, because he said he wanted to not just have her pose, because she's supposed to be like a Black Widow-esque type spy, but he didn't want to do like that sultry type of cover. He wanted an action cover to show that side of her as well. So that was just, I seriously love talking to Deegan. He was amazing. I'll link his Instagram below so you guys can check out some of his work. Like, seriously, I cannot get over talking to him. But yeah, that was pretty much it for talking to people and meeting people. There were a lot of comic sellers, Funko Pop sellers, some cosplay people. But again, it was smaller. One thing that Cole and I were like, we didn't see any of this, was like, we didn't see any people selling swords. There were like 5 or 6 different people selling swords at the Fanboy Expo. So we were like, there were no swords there. And like, not foam swords, actual swords. Cole ended up getting a couple, like I said in the last con video, but we were just sad that we didn't see any sword sellers. But anyway, I know what all of you are waiting to hear about. You're waiting to hear about my backpack. So like I said in my fanboy video, I was going to make a couple of adjustments to my Optimus Prime backpack. And I did. And again, a lot of people were complimenting me on my backpack, because Cole and Cindy both this time were having me show it off, and people just thought it was amazing. But I did change out the button, and it worked wonders on keeping the backpack actually closed. The button I had before this was a smaller button, so it kept popping out of the little buttonhole up here. But this bigger button that I got is a little bit more difficult to get in there, but once you get it in there, it stays shut. Alright, there we go. So the button is in here, and it's staying closed. I don't have anything in here right now, so the actual way it's falling looks a little weird, but that really, really helped, because now I wasn't feeling like as I was walking around stuff was going to fall out or somebody would be able to grab my wallet from it or anything like that. but it also makes it lay a little bit better and looks cool. I did place the button a little bit lower this time as well, but it does not cover up the window portion as much as I was worried it would, but it does make it look a little bit more like Optimus this way. I also did take some of the top of the straps and sew that down so that the straps will be shorter, because one thing that was concerning about taking it to the Fanboy Expo was that throughout the day it was feeling like it was getting lower and lower and the straps were sagging a lot, so it was feeling a bit weird sitting like that. So taking it up on both sides did wonders for it feeling like it was not going to just completely drop off the straps. And I did manage to sew on the the Autobot patch onto this strap. We got this patch at the Fanboy Expo last month, but unfortunately the way the strap falls on my shoulder does sit high, but I'm not going to go through and re-sew it on. It took me like 30 minutes just to sew this on by hand. I'm not going to do that again. But yeah, the modifications I made to the bag really helped. I do think I am going to change up one thing, and that is make one of those loopy straps, and put it on the top so that it's just easier to pick up after setting it down somewhere. Because that was the one thing I was like, am I going to grab it by the strap as I pick it up or by the head? So having a loop strap on the top, I think, will really make a difference there. But I believe that is all I have to talk about for the expo. You guys, there was so much to talk about for it being such a small thing, but we had such an amazing time there. After we left, we went and grabbed pizza at Pizza Bros, which is literally a minute and a half away from the Camp Jordan Center. Then we went to a comic book store in Chattanooga that we hadn't been to in a while. And I ended up getting this copy of Batman and Robin number 11. I have a couple of the ones from this run of Batman and Robin, but I've not been keeping up with it, but I just like that there were dinosaurs on the cover, so I am going to read it, but also I'm going to be like, I need to get the rest of this one, so, but, yeah, it was a good day. We had a lot of fun. So glad to be able to take Sydney and Aiden along with us, and we're looking forward to the convention in October already. But anyways, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I will be doing a podcast episode soon, but until then, I'll see you guys next time. Happy crocheting!